we got Miss Ashanti in the building. What's going on, Ashanti?
Let me turn the volume up. I was like,
oh yeah, let me make sure ours is up.
Yeah.
So, what's up, Ashanti? How you feeling on this lovely Thursday?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Girl, we excited.
We ready, Ashanti. Come on, we ready. We've been waiting.
Listen, I'm so ready. It's been a lot of stuff happening and going on, but I'm glad we made it. We made it to the date. It's going down tonight. I'm so excited. Thank you guys for all the love too. It's been crazy.
For sure. So, I mean, let's get right into the Verzuz, Ashanti. Like, what can we expect tonight for the Verzuz?
I mean, I think it's going to be the energy is going to be so crazy because the anticipation of the ups and the downs and what's going to happen and what are they going to do now and together, not together. Like, it's going to be all of that energy and that synergy is going to come out tonight. You know what I mean? And just hearing these classic records and having all my women in the room, you know what I mean? My guys too. You know, but I think just the energy of hearing these classic records is going to bring you back to times in your life where you're like, yo. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
And that's the whole thing. I mean, because y'all going to be in the same room, right?
No. Not
you're not? So y'all going to be on, I mean, how's it going to work?
Well, you got to tune in.
Okay. I mean, I'm there. Like, I just wanted y'all to be in the same, in the same area.
Well, it's gonna definitely feel like we're in the same room and we're in the same area. So I think everybody's gonna enjoy it.
Okay, cool. And then what was the whole decision just for you and not you, Ashanti, you and Keyshia Cole just to get on the Verzuz together? Because we know fans been wanting this for a long time.
Yeah, it's crazy. I watched the Verzuz. So every time I would comment on whoever was going on, you would see all of these, oh, you should do this and you should do that. And I think Keyshia had posted, what's up, Ashanti, and then they had contacted my team like months ago, like kind of when it first started, So it just took a little bit of time to get things together and we finally made it work, So I'm excited.
I love it. Keyshia and Ashanti are both Libra gang, okay?
Well,
Libra gang.
Libra gang. When was the first time, can you remember the first time you and Keyshia Cole met?
I don't remember the first time, but I do remember obviously the time that I think we were in Platinum Studios together. We were in like 2 different rooms. We met and she told me she had an idea for a record, and that's kind of like how the Woman to Woman record came about, which was super dope. We had a great time in there recording, and it was years ago, but that's the time that's sticking out to me, that time at Platinum Sound.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I love to see it. So, Ashanti, of course, we've been in quarantine, and it's been like a time where everybody been kind of shooting this shot at everybody. I don't know if you've been dating or not, but what are some traits that somebody has to have in order to take Ashanti out? Like, once we get to that.
Fellas, take note. This is your opportunity.
You have to be funny. Y'all already know I love to laugh. I'm always laughing. You have to have integrity, care about your family, be a go-getter, super ambitious. Just somebody that just wants to progress in life, spiritual, you know what I mean? And just, you have to feel like a loyal, genuine being. I think that's really sacred nowadays, especially with everything going on. Everybody's trying to look for the come up, you know what I mean? So those are the things that are important. Obviously, you have to be smart and be able to know how to articulate, because if you can't do that, you can't make money, so.
Hey, fellas, take notes.
Okay, she's dropping gems for y'all. Look, Ashanti, you have such a big collection of work and music. What's a project of yours that stands out, an album that stands out to you out of all the ones you made?
Honestly, for me, obviously my first album means the world to me. That's how I was introduced to the world, like the body of work, just embodying who I am and who I was at that time. And then all the way up to my last album, Braveheart, going through one of the most one of the biggest transitions of my career, going independent, doing everything on my own, learning, making very expensive mistakes. You know what I mean? Writing all those records and understanding the real business side of it and what happens in this music industry, and looking out for the snakes and understanding, you know, that's how it is, and don't take things personal. You know, it's so many things that I've learned and that I've taken in over the years. So those two projects for me, I feel stand out the most.
And that, look, everybody. I have people in the comments right now saying Braveheart, of course, they love the first studio album.
That first album, dude,
Like,
that hit
that's
different.
nostalgia
That
right
foolish,
there.
that
Like,
baby, that happy, that foolish. It's the whole track list for me. You feel me? But Ashanti, so like early in your career, outside of like the songs that we know of or heard of, are there any songs that like producers or writers wanted you to get on, but you actually didn't have the chance to get on?
Songs that actually came out, yeah. I know that I think I was supposed to be on Gangsta Lovin' with Eve. Cause I think Murder Inc. did that beat, if I'm not mistaken. I remember it's that gangsta lovin'. Remember that? Yeah. Yeah, so I heard it and I was like, oh, that's fire. Well, I didn't say it back then, but I was like, nah, that's a great record. I'm like, I didn't say that back then. But I remember liking it, but I don't know what was going on. Scheduling, there was a lot of stuff happening and it didn't pan out, but it's still a great record. So that's one that I think I was supposed to be on, but it didn't pan out.
Okay.
well, look, and speaking of like who you worked with and collaborated with, you know, recently we had Bow Wow on here and he said that he had felt as though somebody who had made music in 2000 that should be still talked about is Lloyd. And I know you and Lloyd have had such a great relationship out of the studio, also just, you know, working in music. Personally, Take Me Tonight on Concrete Rose is one of my favorites.
Hey.
Okay, now, so have you guys still talk, or are you in the talks of like, you know, collaborating again with him anytime soon? Because you guys really know how to lay a track down.
You know what? That's not a bad idea. You know, me and Lottie, we text on holidays and, you know, birthdays and stuff like that. Obviously, we're on tour together. So, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna call him and I'm gonna tell him you said you came up with the thought of doing something together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's my brother.
I would love that. So look, Lloyd, make this happen.
Make it happen.
Definitely make it happen.
Yes.
And speaking of classics, I mean, we seen the interview that you did with Fat Joe, and he said, and it's crazy that you just found this out, that you weren't supposed to be a part of What's Love, and that's everybody's classic. Like, we grew up on that. But I really want to know, Ashanti, you know, like being on Murder Inc., y'all influenced the hip hop game in the early 2000s. Like, why do you think it was a situation where Irv just wanted J-Lo on all these records? Like, you see all the tweets now in the comments. Ashanti was on the vocals for I'm Real.
The inauguration.
The inauguration.
I think as an executive, he was probably chasing the bag more. You know what I mean? And honestly, at that time, I wasn't even signed to Murder Inc. You know, so for him, I think it was, you know, J-Lo's a huge, huge artist. She still is. You know what I mean? Iconic artist. So he was probably on, let's get the money. We're going to worry about our little artists later. You know, so that's what my thought is. But, you know, everything works out for a reason. We did it. Shout out to my brother, Fat Joe.
I'm about to say, we did it, Joe.
We did it, Joe. We did it,
Joe.
Look, Ashanti, what, you know, people are coming tonight and watching this tonight because what you created, your body of work, both you and Keyshia, these are timeless songs, you know, like these are songs that have been around forever and they stick with everybody forever. So what are your thoughts on the current state of R&B right now? You know what I mean? Because I personally want to know if the songs that I'm listening to are still going to be played like how I play your music, you know, later on down the road. So what is your current state of how R&B is going right now?
It's kind of weird. You know, I feel like people want more music quicker. So songs die quicker. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure if whatever's the biggest record now from whichever artist, male or female, are we going to be listening to it 10 years from now and feeling the same way? I'm not sure. I don't know, because people might have not had that time to marinate and really take those records in, because you know when we were releasing music back then, it was like you got 3, 4, 5 months, you know, for this record, and nowadays it's like 3 weeks, you know. So I'm not sure if the intake is as substantial as last, you know, when people were releasing records earlier, because just the way that you got music, the way that you put the blood, sweat, and tears into that body of work, and the way that people received it was a little different. You know, it's a little bit microwave now. It's tap the phone bomb, you know, so it's sorry.
Okay, no, you can.
Today your big day.
Okay.
So we all here for
it.
But no, I understand. But look, but still, you always gonna be a reigning queen of R&B, and that's what we're just gonna leave it right there.
I mean, and I understand what Ashanti said too. It's because like at that time we were growing up watching the 106 in Park and seeing Foolish on the countdown, seeing Baby on the countdown, just seeing Ashanti take over 106 in Park. So now, you know, we're kind of not going through as much as we did when we were younger from relationships or friendships. So like the music back then hits different. Like we could still bump all the Ashanti records, all the Keyshia Cole records, all the everybody else records, because we actually experienced something when it came out.
Yeah.
So I think like
that's the timing of everything, we got to really soak in an album completely. And you know, I always say music is so abstract, you can't really put a feeling to it, but when you listen to an album, listen to a record, it's supposed to bring you back to a feeling that you felt when you first played it, you know, and that's what you guys have been doing. So that's why everybody's about to do into this tonight.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like tonight it's gonna bring you back to those times, and you're gonna be like, damn, I remember when he did that shit to me. You know what I mean? And you're gonna be like, oh, I can't stand him. And then you're gonna be like, ooh, but we had our issues, but he used to, you know, like it's gonna bring back a bunch of different memories, I think, for everyone. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that feeling, music is just so powerful, and it's so spiritual, you know, and it just creates such an amazing feeling. You know, even with me being an artist, when I hear certain records coming up, you know, when I was in high school, that feeling, you never forget that, you know. So the fact that, you know, myself and Keyshia, like, we can do something like that and create that for another generation and other people, for me, like, that's amazing. Like, that's a blessing, you know.
Yeah, that's a big fact. So Ashanti, the main question is, are you dropping new music tonight, or like when can we get new music from Ashanti?
Yep. Hey,
okay,
drop it tonight.
Wait for tonight.
Yeah,
we here for it.
Play the snippet for y'all. Is there like a
Come on, Ashanti. We need that snippet. We here for it.
It's on the computer.
It's on the computer. I wish I could play a snippet. Would it work though if I played it from the computer? No, because the speakers on this computer is busted. They blow. But the record is called 235. I'm very excited about it. It's called 235/I Want You. It's super sexy. We got some stuff coming. I did some sexy stuff to the record.
What's the concept behind the 235?
Waking up at 2:35 in the morning and fiending for that person, and it kind of is just like they're embedded in your soul. So every time whatever it is that you're doing in your day, and whatever work you have to do, and whatever you're supposed to be focused on, this person just pops up. Whether it's a text, whether it's something that reminds you of this person, and it's just like it's in here.
It's like up in that soul. I feel it, girl. But look, Ashanti, you know, one of the reasons why the Verzuz was delayed was due to you contracting COVID. So, you know, talk about just like about your experience dealing with it, you know, maybe even the severity of how, you know, fast this disease can, you know, just spread. What was it like for you?
So here's the thing. I literally, my bags were packed. My stylist was at the house. We had the jet waiting. I literally went to take the test as like a precaution. Like, okay, let me just do this. It's part of the thing. I had all my stuff ready. You know, we're ready to go. And when they said positive, I was like, who? You know, I'm like, not me. And I was just so dumbfounded. And I was stunned, genuinely, because I couldn't believe. And I'm not saying it like, oh, I'm invincible, I can't get it. I'm saying it like, I wear my mask, I sanitize, you know, I had a shield. Obviously, I had just gotten back from Nairobi in Kenya, and I was around 13 people every day. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we were like doing videos and eating together, and you know what I'm saying? So it's like, how did I get this? I didn't get it from traveling. I didn't get it from going to Africa. I got it from hugging a family member in my house. You know what I mean? And that's the part that's so scary, because everyone is worried about going outside and going to the supermarket and doing this and doing that. I was doing that, you know, with my mask and my sanitizer, and I was safe, and I was, you know, 6 feet apart. And I gave a family member a hug. He didn't know he had it, and he gave it to me, my mom, my dad, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it was really, really bizarre, you know, and I couldn't believe it. You know, I just was like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, it's not supposed to happen like that. I'm being safe, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm a pure example of it genuinely can happen to anyone, even when you are following the guidelines. So I feel like it's important to follow the guidelines on top of, you know? It was not a good thing. And we could clear this up right now. I'm
about to say, clear it up.
Clear the air, Ashanti.
I'm really confused on how someone would think that I would fake COVID, that like it would be, you know, something that's made up, or I'm trying to not, like, that was so bizarre to me. You know, you kind of not really, you know, the knowledge isn't there, for lack of words, to say that, or think it, or believe it rather. You know what I mean? Because the disease is not anything to play with. You know, people die. People's families have been shattered. You know, it's not something that you play around with, you know? So I just wanted to make that very clear, because I would never fake that I have a virus. Who wants to tell the world that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm about to
Everybody
say,
just be on the internet.
and I'm glad you made it clear, because everybody on the internet like, Ashanti scared, or they canceling it again.
Right. And I'm
we
like,
looking at all this.
I mean, you could have just came down with a common cold. Why do you got to be COVID? Like, you know
exactly. That's my thing. And I genuinely, I mean, I had a little sniffle, and I did lose my sense of taste at that time. And I know sometimes I get allergies. So I was like, all right, this is just a cold. Maybe it was the safari. You know what I mean? We over in Africa, maybe it was the safari. So I'm like, okay, this is just a regular cold. But I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? And again, just the fact that my parents both had it. My mom was in the hospital for 5 days, you know. I was up at the hospital, like, looking like a crazy person, marching through the doors. Like, it was a nightmare. So again, I just want to be very, very clear that the virus is nothing to play with. It's nothing to joke around about. You know what I mean? And I don't think anyone in their right mind would fake it, you know?
Yeah.
Just want to be
definitely.
Definitely.
So don't even come at Ashanti with that no more, okay?
So it's no
Thank
you. But Ashanti, we appreciate you for stepping into the shade.
Yes.
We are ready for tonight, 5 p.m. Pacific time. If you on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the Eastern time, we got this Ashanti and Keyshia Cole battle. A month later, we here with it today.
Yes.
We active.
All the classics will be playing tonight. Okay?
Exactly.
But the youngins don't know about this timeless music. This timeless music right here. Okay?
Listen,
So
I always said there is a difference between a hit and a classic. You know what I'm saying? So,
hey,
you know,
can I get a
say it again.
Say it again.
Ashanti, thank you so much for stepping into the shade room. We appreciate you so much. Good luck tonight. We already know you about to kill, okay?
We appreciate
Thank you guys so much for the love. I love y'all. I love y'all. Thank you.
We love
you. Yes. Bye, Ashanti. Oh my God, I love her. I mean, I already loved her, but I love her even more. Guys, that was Ashanti.
Hey, listen, I had the biggest crush on Ashanti when I was in like middle school, high school, when Ashanti had
You could have spoke your
I mean,
piece.
yeah, I could have spoke my piece.
You could have got everyone your chest today.
No, you got to keep it.
Well, now you got the notes though for how you can come at her now. She said she was somebody articulate.
Yeah, I mean, everything she said is, you know what I'm saying? It's me, I'm funny. Hey, but look, tonight is the Verzuz. We're going to see y'all there. If you got some drink, you got the whatever you got the water, you got the juice, you got the tequila, you got the cognac, you got the wine, you got the beer, you got the hookah.
Yes.
Spend time with your friends and your family, and let's go back, take them back.
But you know what? Before we go, tune in at 2 p.m. We gonna have Miss Busted herself, Erica Banks, stepping into the shade room?
At 2 p.m.
2
we
p.m.
have
We
Erica
coming back.
stepping into the shade room. You know what I'm saying? We're going to
Okay.
talk about the Blessing Challenge. We're going to talk about all that. But until then, you're going to see this big head guy again, Baker, you know, belly shirt, and of course the